Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the What If South is Up podcast, where we talk about the ups and downs of creating worlds from scratch and all the misadventures we experience along the way. In a nutshell, how to wing it like an author. My name is Derrick Hall. I'm the author and creator of the Crimson Prophecy series, of which 2 novels and 2 companion novellas are available on Amazon. And I am here with my quirky and preemptively socially lubricated co-host, Xtina Lefebvre.
Tattletale. Hello, world! I'm Xtina, but my friends call me Xtina. And I'm in the middle of building my first world, a parallel Earth where colonization never happened in the Americas. And I'm still writing my first book, which has a working title of Cogs and Arrows. It leans towards nature futurism, but also has speculative fiction, but it is 100% totally, absolutely fantasy. So, Derrick,
Yes.
What are you drinking today?
I am drinking a no longer ice-cold Guinness.
I prefer it not ice cold.
I prefer it as cold as I can get it.
Then you're not a true Guinness fan.
Well, I've had them with ice chips in them, and it's amazing. But it's too warm here today for that.
No. Okay. Anyways.
What do you have?
My friend went to New Orleans, and I dog sat, and she brought me back a special surprise. Ooh. It's an Appalachian butter pecan sipping cream.
Okay, that just sounds good.
It is really good. It's ice cold.
Damn it.
Which this should be served cold, not Guinness. It's ice cold, and I'm sipping it, and it's decadent.
Yeah, that sounds really good. You had me at New Orleans. Yes. Never had any food from New Orleans I didn't like, so I'm pretty sure beer isn't going to be too far off.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
All right, so Xtina, what have you been reading or watching since our last episode?
So I'm reading something long overdue, and I want to apologize to my special friend, but I am reading a friend's first novel.
Oh.
And I am watching and just finished up the latest season of the Star Wars, The Bad Batch.
Oh, it's so good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
delicious.
The season was
so
awesome.
Delicious. It was delicious. It was a great ending.
Mm-hmm. But it's not over yet.
I don't know why I was surprised. It's not over.
It's not over. They're bringing it back.
No? Well, good. Good. Unlike what I just hear, The Great. I was watching The Great too.
Oh, yeah.
And they wrote 8 seasons of it, but Hulu hasn't renewed for season 4, which is totally sad because it's really, really good.
Yeah, and I don't see Disney picking that one up.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, well, what are you reading or watching? I'm
3 or 4 months late at this point, but I'm finally getting into the 2nd season of Shadow and Bone, and
I have not been able to get into that. I just can't. I don't know why, but okay.
Have you tried?
No.
Yeah, well, there's your problem.
No.
Yeah. It doesn't hold up to the book. It doesn't. It does some really weird things. It mixes a couple of related but separate book series, and it does some odd things. I really enjoy it, but it's not like the book. They changed a lot. Especially in this new season. Like, already, it's just kind of, you did what now? But it's still a really, really good, really fun to watch.
So it's fun. Okay.
Visually interesting. And if you haven't read the book, you'll enjoy it. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I have read the books and I enjoy it anyways, but I also recognize that they sort of dropped the ball. And I'm also rewatching the first 2 seasons of The Witcher in preparation for the new one coming up, which, yes, it's already started, but I'm waiting until it's all there so I can binge it. So I'm rewatching the old ones to prepare for the binge.
I get it. I have been there, done that. I just rewatched, I guess I should have put it in my list, but Strange New World, Star Trek. I rewatched the last season so I can be ready for this new season that's coming. Oh, wow. And after we finish here, I get to go watch a new episode, so that's cool.
Yay.
But yeah, I get it. Yeah, I want to binge it, but normally I want to binge it, but this one I can't binge. I gotta watch it as it comes out.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of that yet. I'm not that big of a Star Trek person.
You know what? I am the most, what's it called when you're not two-faced, but dichotomous, whatever. I've got a split personality.
Hypocritical?
I love Star Wars. Okay, sure, I guess.
I am the most hypocritical Trekkie ever.
I love Star Wars, and I love Star Trek.
I love
I
Star
love
Wars. I like Star Trek, but I have to be in a mood for it.
I love them both. And I can't get enough of either one.
I heard them described once as Star Wars is Indiana Jones and Star Trek is Dune.
Okay, so I've never seen or read Dune, but
that is unfortunate.
Star Trek, yes, I understand.
Okay.
Star Trek appeals to my technical, engineer, logical mind, and Star Wars to my witchy,
adventurous, storm the castle and save the princess
side.
Yeah.
Yes, and so they both. It takes both of them to fulfill me fully, but I can't say which one I love better. I love them both.
Yeah, Star Trek is the submarine warfare of sci-fi. It's very slow paced.
Sure.
For me, I like the quick and active and the dogfights, and I prefer Star Wars, but that's me.
Yeah, for the Star Trek, I love the analytical, the way that they problem solve, they get to the solution.
Yeah.
All that's fun for me.
Yeah, for sure. It is fun. I just have to be in a mood for it.
Yeah, I get that. Oh, so speaking of worlds, far, far and away.
Yes.
What world building problems have you encountered and maybe solved since our last episode?
Well, I figured out the ending that I was searching for in the last episode, and it wasn't even on my list of possibilities. So funny how that happens.
Oh, that's magic.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you pants things. I thought I was done, and then a whole nother confrontation happened, and then I thought I was done, and then a whole nother confrontation happened, and yeah, it was weird. Weirdest breakup ever. But anyways, I'm actually between projects at the moment, taking a little break before I dive into editing the super crazy top secret project. So no new problems yet, for now, maybe. I hope. What about you?
Well, I'm sort of there because like I mentioned in the last episode, I'm trying to rework my one book into a 3-book series. So I'm kind of having to stretch things out. When you stretch things out, you have more scenes that need filled. And so I've decided for this book that my protag needs to spend a few chapters crossing across the Alaskan tundra. And I think the best way to be able to explain this world is to show what's happening magically in it. So I'm trying to decide what type of magical creatures. Maybe I'll just do one magical creature. I haven't even decided that yet. But I need to decide what kind of magic they'll encounter on the way from where they started to where they end. And the problem I'm trying to solve here with all this is try to really get that reader involved in this world and relay to that reader that this world is not only Alaska. It's not the world they know, but it's in Alaska with magic and mythical creatures. And that's considered normal there.
Alaska is magical. You don't need to add
You really
things.
you have no idea. It's magical.
It's so magical, the mosquitoes are the size of chickens.
Well, okay, we wouldn't say chickens, but they're pretty big.
Oh, I know. The mosquitoes here have been absolutely voracious, and they're huge. Oh, it's awful. But
yeah.
The drought will come soon enough, and the mosquitoes will go away.
So there's an old Alaskan joke that says that the Alaskan state bird is the mosquito.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Montana right about this time of year.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to do something for me. Somewhere on this magical journey through the magical Alaska, somebody in the group needs to use the jerky to start the campfire. That's all I want.
Use the jerky? Why? They have magic.
Yeah, well, you don't understand the joke,
somewhere.
But people will, and you need to do it. Please, for me.
I will look up the joke after this tomorrow.
It's great.
Okay.
For anyone who doesn't know, that is an Avatar: The Last Airbender joke, and I think it would be awesome.
That's right. That's on my TBW. My girlfriend
Maria
my God,
it's so good.
That I have to watch this, and I tried to start it, and I don't know. It just didn't do what it needed to do.
The first season, particularly the first 3 or 4 episodes, are a little bit slow.
Yeah, I haven't gone past episode 4 for sure.
Okay. The first 3 or 4 episodes are a little bit slow. Get past that.
Okay.
Because there's only 3 seasons. Get past those first few episodes, and it starts getting so much better. The characters that you fall in love with are not the characters that you expect to fall in love with.
Interesting.
And they don't necessarily show up right away. So keep that in mind. Hang in there. It's a goofy kids show, but it's also so much more. And it's so good.
And I watch all kinds of goofy kid shows. My childhood was cut short, though I love all the goofy kid shows.
It's so good. It really is. Like, if I could write something half as good as Airbender, I will have made it in my own mind. Stick with it.
Wonderful.
It's awesome.
Okay.
And that joke is in season 1, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check back with me in a year, and if I haven't done it yet, you can spank me.
A year?
No, wait, that sounded really, really
Yeah, I don't know how either of our significant others would feel about that.
Yeah, that's not what it meant.
Are you sure?
I'm fairly fucking sure.
You won't let me have a side chick, but you want me to spank you. Okay, I see how it is.
No, I don't want you to spank. Oh my God, this has gone so
Kinky
south.
in the most boring way ever.
This has gone so south. Okay, shall we continue?
All right.
Ouch.
I am such an asshole. I'm sorry. This is what happens when you pregame the podcast. Every week, we like to share one sentence from our current works in progress, a single sentence with no context. And then we let you know if we're planning to keep it or if we had to watch our darling die. Xtina, are you ready for Darlings Dead or Alive?
Sure.
What do you have for me?
Oh, this is, okay, no context. I'll just say it. And there is your folly, young one. Pride.
Ooh, wizened mentor character.
Yeah.
There's always one. There has to be. You can't write a fantasy without a Gandalf.
You can't. And he doesn't have to look like Gandalf, but he needs a Gandalf.
Yep. You can't write a fantasy without a Gandalf.
Yeah.
I have a couple of Gandalfs. It's fine. All right.
You have a couple.
So mine's a little bit longer.
Okay.
The notes chewed at the pit of her stomach until she felt a lingering dread, as though something was coming that could not be foreseen or escaped.
And did you keep it?
Maybe? I don't know. It's first draft. We're going to find out. I think I'm keeping it, though. I like that line a lot.
I like that line. The notes chewed at the pit. The notes chewed. That's pretty good.
Yeah, because you know how like a really heavy bass note or vibration, you kind of feel it in your stomach? It's almost like butterflies or that nervous, sick feeling.
But dude, it's a very specific type of verb as opposed to resonated or reverberated. Yeah, good job. Or echoed. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, good job.
It felt very colorful to me.
Okay, now on to the point of our show.
No.
Which also happens to be our favorite game. Every week, we roll a D20, which helps us randomly choose from our list of 20 scenarios that we perpetually update. Then we talk about how that would affect our worlds, our ad hoc worlds, whatever world we're working on currently. Are you ready?
Sure. Are you ready?
More or less.
All right. Roll here. Number 15. What if your world was suddenly met with a newcomer claiming to be a god?
You want to go first?
Sure.
Good, I like that.
Of course you would. So in my world, for my main series in Ketra, there is no active established religion. It's just kind of over time, a lot of the like independent cultures and traditions and things like that have been baked out of society as a whole. And there really isn't a whole lot of religion, culture, tradition, that sort of thing, different between different cultures, you know, the elves, the minotaurs, the humans, whatever. It's all just sort of generic and flat because everyone has been socially conditioned that that's normal. But I am coming to a place where, as I've said before, I'm starting to play with deities and gods and things like that. And this is a very real thing. This could actually be a plot point in book 3. Hint, hint, stay tuned. But I think most people would dismiss it offhand. Most people aren't going to think twice. They're going to, oh, that guy's crazy, whatever, and just go about their lives until something happened that forced them to pay attention. Some miracle or prophecy, or, oh, your kingdom's going to be struck down and then a tsunami comes or whatever. But once people were given proof or reason to pay attention, then that might change, because there is still an undercurrent and a knowledge of things from the past, even if they're not necessarily in active belief, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you're saying that having a entity, person, creature come up and say, I'm a god, it's going to be a pivotal point in your book to change how the world is or how the story goes?
Not necessarily pivotal. So there is a history of religion and worshiping gods and that sort of thing, but it's several thousand years old and it's died out. There is a possibility, I'm not going to commit to anything, but there is a possibility of some of these old gods showing back up and reigniting that religion, as it were.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Now, for my world, I'm trying to decide, do I want this world to be a linear progression parallel to our own, meaning that we have the earth, and it came about, and cavemen came and went, dinosaurs came and went before the cavemen, all this kind of thing, and now we have today, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Or would I rather do a thousands of years after an apocalyptic event, right? And this world has learned that some of the things that caused problems before are things they need to watch out for. I'm 50-50 on which way I want to go with this.
Well, you're already dealing with a parallel world, so you can't take that route.
I'm dealing with a parallel world, but doesn't mean it has to be the same time space.
What if the apocalypse happened in our world and that's what split the timeline?
Well, my timeline got split way back in Mayan times. I already decided that.
Okay.
So there is a lot of the native, mythos, stories tell of a time where they evolved out of the cave. And I love the idea of a nuclear world gone wrong. People went under earth to survive and they're coming out now. And then my time is 2,000 years past that time. I like that idea.
What's interesting.
And if I do that, then some of the writings that they would find or some of the information they would have would be about how some religions, mind you, listeners everywhere in the world, I'm not saying every religion is toxic. I'm not saying your religion is toxic. That's not what I'm stating here. I am always stating that we can all agree that some religions are toxic. And so my world later on is like reading all these manuscripts, histories of these things that might have caused the world to come to a nuclear holocaust. And so they've made all these rules and laws in place so that it doesn't happen again. That being said, I think that if I were to go with that former idea, a post-apocalyptic world, kind of like, you remember that moment in, what's that ape show? World of Apes. Oh my God, why can't I think of that?
Planet of the Apes?
That movie right now. Thank you. That moment in Planet of the Apes when he's going down the beach and he comes across the a Statue of America, right? Statue of Liberty. And he realizes that, oh my God, this is my world. This is the same world. This is in the future. Blah, blah, blah. And that moment.
Have you seen and or read the Shannara Chronicles?
I have read the Shannara Chronicles. I haven't seen that. So,
okay.
Could I?
If you get a chance, specifically for the visuals, watch the show. At least the first season. Because you know most of the storyline if you've read it. But that's sort of what you're talking about. It's a post-apocalyptic world that turned magical.
Yes, exactly.
Which I think is an awesome concept, and especially for a visual media, because there's a scene in there where they're trying to hide from somebody that's hunting them or whatever, and they end up in an old, like, van that was half buried under the ground. And there's a scene where they walk up on a cliff and you see the broken remains of the Golden Gate Bridge. Or, like, place names are from worn and faded highway signs, and they're pronounced funny because some of the letters are missing. Things like that.
Exactly.
And it's a really interesting visual. So if you decide to go that way, it might be worth checking out just as research, for lack of a better term.
So many of the books in the Shannara Chronicles were based in and around Seattle. So they mentioned places, and I recognize them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty fascinating. And it's made it one of my favorite worlds. But that being said, what if somebody were to step in my world and they said, I'm a god?
Yeah.
Right? I think majority of my people would just laugh at him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have absolutely no effect. And if this, quote unquote, God said, well, look what I can do, right? Tucker would stand up and say, huh, that's cute. Watch what I can do, right? And Martin would stand up and say, yeah, well, watch this, because they all have magical abilities.
Stop ruining the plot of my book.
I think it would be very difficult for someone to stand up and say, I'm a god, and actually make it stick. I think they would just be laughable. I think that if I were to put this into my book, people would just laugh at this person.
Right.
They would be like, yeah, whatever. Okay, you're a god.
What,
quote unquote,
what of it?
air quotes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, that's part of where I was thinking about going with my book too, because you have somebody show up and be able to do something that they shouldn't be able to do, and then now that magic is revived, you could have a mage step up and go, oh yeah, I can do that too.
Yeah, I can do one better.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
you kind of end up, I hate to invoke the Bible here, but everybody should know this story. You kind of end up with like Moses and the Pharaoh, hey, look, my stick's a snake, and then all of the Pharaoh's magicians do the same thing.
Yep.
That sort of situation, or it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. I hesitate to say it's been done, but it's been done. But it can still be done so well.
I think it can be done well. And I'm not saying that I don't enjoy books where there's gods mixed into it. I enjoyed, what was it, Circe. Circe was a good story. And it was a good book, good story. They are gods. There are gods around, whatever. And they're just, talking about their lives. That was fun. I just don't think it would fly that well in my world. I think that people would be like, what do you mean by God? What do you think a God is? What's God going to do for me?
Yeah.
I just think it would be laughable.
Yeah, I have difficulty keeping my bias out of my books, but...
Oh, I think that every writer does.
Yep.
Every author does, and I think that's perfectly okay, as long as you can... So, what was it, the Sort of Truth series with... can't remember his name right now, of the author there. And when I first read the first couple of books, I really enjoyed it. Well, first of all, because I had just gotten into fantasy books and hadn't read a lot of them, so he was pretty interesting to me. Terry Goodkind.
Yep.
But by the third or fourth novel, he got really preachy.
Yep.
In a couple of things
yeah,
he
and
did.
Goodkind does
and
that.
I'm just like, I was just like, okay, this is Terry talking. This isn't the book anymore.
Yeah.
This is...
And there's several authors I have that same problem with. Orson Scott Card comes to mind.
Yeah.
Like, I love all of his, I forget what they're officially called. I call it the Enderverse, Ender's Game, and Speaker for the Dead, and, Shadow the Giant, Shadow the Hedgehog, all of those. I love those books. But I tried to read some of his other stuff, and it just got preachy.
Yeah, it just gets like, and then when when he gets preachy and you don't agree with the message, it gets
tedious.
You're torn, tedious. You're torn right out of the story. You just kind of paging through to get to something that's interesting.
Yes,
and I don't want that to happen to my book.
Yeah, if I wanted to read a 200-page anti-abortion manifesto, I probably wouldn't veil it as a Shakespeare retelling.
Exactly.
Um,
So there's a fine line. There's a fine line between girding or, just touching your bias
mhm.
and fully inserting your
Yes.
stand on the soapbox.
I don't have
you know,
any problem with people putting their beliefs into what they write. That's fine.
How do we not? How do we not?
You can't not do it.
Yeah.
On some level, you can't
yeah.
not do it. Brandon Sanderson is Mormon, and his books
Yes,
are
he's
actually
very
really
Mormon.
clean because of that.
Exactly.
And
yes.
that's
yes.
great.
Which
There
is
is a
fine.
market for
It's-
clean fantasy. Not everything has to
And
be
he tells,
Game of Thrones and The Witcher with orgies and
here's the thing about
genocide
his
every other
books.
chapter.
Right. He
Like,
tells a great story
Exactly.
while doing it clean, but he's not preaching.
exactly. He's not preachy about it. If you didn't know he was Mormon, you
Nope.
would just think, okay, he wanted this to be clean. That's fine.
You might not even think that. Because he tells a story without you having to think about it.
Exactly. You don't have to get preachy, and you don't have to put every personal belief in every book. And your characters do not have to agree with you as an author.
With that being said, I think that you can't get away from your own bias.
No.
You can't. I would never be able to write a book that has a group of people who worship a unseen God for, just in an ugly way. I just would never be able to do it and pull it off and make it look pretty. I just wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, but I could write a book where the main character is a Nazi. That doesn't mean I'm a Nazi.
Yes.
Like, you don't have
Yes,
to,
but-
your characters do not have to agree with you, and you do not have to agree with your characters. You can write an absolute monster of a character and be a decent human being.
So, to go back to the original question, what would I do, or what would my world do if someone stepped in and said, I'm a god, worship me, or however you wanted to word that?
Right.
I would say that for my world, people would laugh. And for my book, I'd make people laugh, and I'd move forward without even giving them a second thought.
Exactly. And I think in my world, to a point, given the social climate that is building, I think people would laugh it off at first, and then it would work to a point.
So, one of a profound thing that I read was someone saying they were surprised, or they had an epiphany, that the people that have a sudden second coming to God tend to be only people that are in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had a world where people were, quote unquote, in trouble, meaning without food, without means, without opportunity, without purpose, yeah, I think that they would look to a God for those things. But if I created a world where they had these things as a point of fact, right, just the way we are, I don't think there'd be that many.
Yeah. Desperation creates a receptive mind.
Yeah.
If you're desperate, it's you get to a point where it's any port in a storm.
Yeah.
You'll do anything to pay the rent. You'll do anything to buy food. You'll do anything. And that's how you end up with petty thieves. That's how you end up with, that guy selling drugs on the corner to keep his kids fed.
You'll also do anything to feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll feel like you have purpose, that you have given whatever.
Yes. And that is, like you said, that is that mindset, that desperation. You don't know where to turn, and somebody comes and says, hey, look, I have this purpose and this calling, and there's a higher power that can fix everything if you do everything right. You're going to be more open to that.
And that's not the story I want to tell.
No, me either.
So if anybody else listening, that's the story you want to tell, good for you. Right on. Bravo. Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one's stopping you. And I have what's the word? I don't, go for it. I'm going to praise you all the way. That's not the world, and that's not the story I want to tell.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Lewis and the Chronicles of Narnia, but I can't in good conscience say that they're bad books. I might not particularly care for the allegory and the hard focus on the allegory, but he tells a good story.
Here's the thing is that I wasn't raised in understanding or knowing the Bible stories or that whole thing. So when I read the Chronicles of Narnia, I didn't have that comparison.
Yeah.
I had no idea that's what it was about.
Right.
But my goodness, what a glorious story those were.
Right. It's a great story.
They were great. I didn't need to know that allegory, and I never put it together.
Yeah.
But boy, did I enjoy those stories. And probably, I have to admit, those were my window into my doorway into fantasy.
Yes. Same. Actually, Lewis got me started with Narnia, and then I found out about the Inklings and discovered Tolkien, and it was all downhill from there.
So it was, for me, it was C.S. Lewis, and then I think the other big step for me was when my son and I used to read Martin the Warrior, which was Matthias the Mouse.
Yeah.
Martin the Mouse.
Yep.
It was, yes. Redwall series. My son and I reading Redwall series together. Those were my two big, huge steps.
Oh, and there was
fantasy.
another book that it was one of those books that my teacher read to the class in like 2nd or 3rd grade. I don't know the name of it. I haven't been able to find it. I'm still looking for it. Listeners, if you know what this book is, let me know. It's sort of an Indian in the cupboard type thing where a little toy like knight comes to life and goes on all these grand adventures like in the attic and the driveway and, you know, vanquishes the spider in the attic and things like that. It was so good. And I would consider that fantasy at this point.
Yeah, I would too.
Definitely mid-grade. Don't know who wrote it. Don't know the name of it. I'm still looking for it. If you know what it is, let me know. Yeah, I think that's probably what started it. And then Narnia, and then it was all downhill from there.
All downhill from there. Yep.
All downhill from there. And we won't even get started with D&D. That's a relatively new thing for me, but still, that doesn't help. It feeds the beast. And
I will also have to say that I was in the theaters for the very first release of the very first Star Wars movie, before they named it anything else.
Oh, if I had a time machine.
And that would be definitely something that sunk me deep into fantasy.
Oh, yeah. Star Wars is fantasy. I don't care what anybody says.
I don't care what anybody says. That sunk me deep. I was done. I was gone. I was sold.
Star Wars is fantasy. People try to claim it's sci-fi. It's not. It's fantasy.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's
reluctant hero, bearded mentor, storm the castle, save the princess. Yeah, it's fantasy.
It's a hero's journey. Totally, 100% the hero's journey. Yep. Magic stuff happens, and there is some cool tech that happens. So it's like flavored with sci-fi, but no, totally.
Yep.
I remember that I was standing in line for hours to go watch that movie. Released, watch it the weekend it released.
Oh, I wish.
I can't even tell you how it changed my world.
Yep.
It just changed my world.
Yep.
And if I could create a story, if I could write a world, if I could create a moment in somebody's life where it doesn't even change the whole world, but it gives them a sliver of a new perspective, hope, or love, or insight, or anything like that, I would consider my job well done as far as writing, writing and authoring.
Absolutely.
I would go to my grave with a smile on my face if I got some fan telling me at some point, you made me look at this world differently. That would just be amazing.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we're going to leave George Lucas to his Scrooge McDuckian vault of royalties and bid everyone here adieu. It's been fun. If you're a world builder, newbie or not, and would like to be on our show, we would love to have you. That includes you D&D, tabletop RPG game masters, writers, authors, anyone who creates worlds. I don't care if you're a game developer. Get on the horn. We would love to have you. You can let us know by going to our website, whatifsouthisup.com, and leaving us a message, or you can reach us through our Facebook page.
Also, we're always interested in what if questions. we'd like to add more to our list. If your world has something interesting about it and you'd like to pose it to us so that we can apply it to our world to see how it would affect our world or our story, we'd love to hear from you. So, Mr. Derrick, how can folks find you on the interwebs?
My website is derrickhallauthor.com, but you can also find me as dhallauthor on the Clock app or just about anywhere else. What about you?
You can find me at uniquelyxtina.com or uniquelyxtina on all the things, all the socials, everywhere.
Yes.
I like to be on TikTok and I like to be on Facebook. I know, old school. Anyways, thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. It's been fun. We will see you on the we will see you on the naked episode. Let's not do that.
We'll see you on the next episode.
We will see you on the next episode of What If South is Up.
South is up. Yay!
Yay!
Next.
Oh.